Greg Andrick here, bringing you another Business Freedom Conversation post. So the U.S. economy added 336,000 jobs in September. That was 100,000 jobs more than economists predicted. That's a really big number. The largest increases were in hospitality and leisure. Pretty amazing. In a parallel story, U.S. consumers are still spending like there's no tomorrow. They're propping up the entire economy. What does this mean for your business? Well, part of this is that wages are continuing to soften. And because wages are softening means people are going back to work. And my guess is people are spending their stimulus money. Now they're out of their stimulus money and they're having to pay their student loans. There's no eviction moratorium and there's no supplemental unemployment insurance, that they're now spending the money they're making on their job. 336,000 new people that are getting new paychecks. It's all a wonderful thing and portends that maybe there is hope for a soft landing. On the downside, it looks like the Fed may have to continue to raise rates because the Fed's objective all the way along is to hurt employment, because that usually brings inflation to a screeching halt. People just can't pay for things and they begin reducing. Well, we haven't been able to reduce because U.S. consumers were sitting on $5.5 trillion in savings. At the start of the pandemic, American consumers had only $1.5 trillion in savings. The last number I heard was about 8 or 9 months ago that they were down to $3.3 trillion. So it is looking like the stimulus money is kind of causing a soft landing. It just depends on what the Fed does and what is the impact on your business. It's time to take those things into consideration, and based on what kind of industry you're in and where your service area is, and what kind of customers you have, that you may be able to engineer things to have a soft landing in your business as well. Now, if you're one of the 23% of small business owners that reports to the NFIB, National Foundation of Independent Businesses, that you're still not getting responses to your ads, it has nothing to do with the economy. It has everything to do with how you manage that process. We have lots of tools and things that can help you in that process, so take a look. This is Greg Andrick. See you on the next one. Don't forget, you own a business because you want to be free. Business Freedom Conversation. I'll catch you on the next one.
We learned the economy created 336,000 jobs in September alone. That means since I've taken office, we've created 13.9 million new jobs.
This was a banner jobs report, even by 2023 standards, where we saw, the biggest pickup in hiring since January. We saw hiring really pick up across the board, from trucking operators to restaurants and bars, but some of the most hiring was concentrated in those leisure and hospitality sectors, where hiring in bars and restaurants is now back at pre-pandemic levels. It's remarkable, especially since heading into this year, many investors, many analysts expected the U.S. economy to tip into a recession. Instead, we're seeing a banner jobs report, which shows that things are still humming along. One thing that we learned from this morning's jobs report is that wages are cooling and they continue to cool. So on the one hand, investors can view that as good news because it means that maybe this inflationary spiral that many people were worried about is not panning out because we're seeing wage growth continuing to cool. On the other hand, that's not great news for workers who aren't seeing, maybe the big pay jumps that they saw just a year ago. The continued strength of the U.S. economy is raising fears that the Fed will have to raise interest rates again and keep them higher for longer than many had anticipated. The Fed's interest rate hiking cycle so far hasn't dented the jobs market, and it remains to be seen when and if it will.